Doing there, Moosey? Checking things out?
Well, hey guys, we're back with a new episode on the Jeep CJ3B, and essentially what I'm going to be doing is stripping this Jeep down and getting it ready for the Bedliner treatment. I've got the Bedliner material, the gun, and everything in, and now it's just getting essentially this ready to paint. And so you have to kind of strip it down, take off everything that you don't want covered with the Bedliner material, and then I've got to start planning out exactly what I'm going to do on how I'm going to paint this. So we're going to be going from this to this. So got everything all taken off the Jeep. It's, specifically the interior. Took out the seats, took out everything on the inside, took off the spare and the jerry can, folded down the windshield. Took off a bunch of bolts and nuts and screws and things that are just not needed, things that are just screwed in. So at one time they had carpet down and they used metal screws, and so I'm taking out all that, the gas tank and draining the fuel and all that good stuff, and then just vacuuming everything, just getting it all clean. Now I'm going to power wash it one more time. Make sure that I get off any residual dirt and grease and things like that that's still on the vehicle itself. It's going to be all manpower because the gas tank's out of it, so I'm going to have to push it out, push it in, that kind of stuff, but no big deal. But I want to get it really nice and clean for the preparation, so it's a very good bonding surface for this Bedliner spray. So going to power wash it now, get it all cleaned up, and then we'll hopefully get started today. I spent last night kind of taking it apart and then came out this morning and got the rest of it done. But I'm hoping today we can start spraying Bedliner. I'm a little bit concerned because it's supposed to be raining most of the day around here, and I don't know exactly how the humidity is going to affect the Bedliner. So I'm going to do a little research on that. But maybe today, maybe tomorrow, we'll start spraying this thing out. Okay, there she is. That's probably the cleanest 1953 CJ3B in existence. I have washed it about 4 times, and everything's out of it. I cleaned underneath the hood. I got the underbody pretty good. Now it's just ready to dry. So I've got to go run an errand real quick. Hop down, and I'm going to let this thing drip dry here in the shop, and then I'll come back and spray off any residual water. Make sure I go over it one more time, take any pieces off that I need to paint or just don't need to be coated with Bedliner. Start taping off things that I'm not going to cover, so things like the soft top buttons and just other things around the vehicle, the windshield, things like that. I'm going to start taping that off once it dries, and then probably going to have this project completed tomorrow because of the humidity outside, and it's fixing to start raining. So so far so good. Alright, so this is kind of my table where I put all my extra parts, anything that I took off the vehicle, soft top all the way through all the hardware, nuts and bolts. I put in this magnetic bowl so it keeps them together. Now I am going to have to kind of remember how I did all this or exactly where all this goes, but I think I can figure this out. A lot of these big bolts, things like that, I'll clean up on the wire wheel and probably give them a coat of paint. And that's really what I'm going to be doing with most of the items that I took off. Things like these soft top brackets, things like that. I'm just going to paint them up, make sure they look nice. Anything that I took out, I'm going to go ahead and paint, put a black paint on it. Some of the things I am going to get rid of though. These hood latches are really oxidized and just they're cheap anyways. I think a full set of these is $12 and they're powder coated. So I went ahead and ordered those. I did get a couple of shift knobs coming. This one's stripped out and it doesn't have any threads left and it's all cracked on the bottom side. And then this one's stripped out also. So for the shifter and for the 2-speed transfer case shifter. And then of course I've got the little ones for the 4 high and low. I'm just going to paint those. They're still in really good condition and they work really well. Still trying to figure out what I'm going to do with the chain on the back. I don't like how they just kind of wrapped it with electrical tape and went on down the road. I mean, it's a good chain. I can still use it, but maybe I'll do a plasti dip or something like that on this and figure out what to do with that. All right, so here's some good shots of the Jeep outside. Went ahead and rolled it back outside. I did some of my body work and things like that already. Grinded down any rust bubbles, cut off any screws that just, you know, I couldn't get off with a screwdriver or something like that. Trying to get everything as flush and level as I can. Now I'm going to go through in anything that I'm going to be painting. So for example, this back rack, the bumper, the surrounds for the lights, things like that. I'm going to go ahead and paint those first in the flat black. Or actually I'm using a satin black. Go ahead and get everything painted up that I want painted first in the black color, and then I'm going to come back and start masking things off. A few little areas of body work that I do need to float out with some filler. A couple of dents there, mainly because the windshield came down and they didn't have the little wooden blocks. I'm putting the wooden blocks back, but I'm going to go ahead and put some body filler in this. This is just a very small little dent. A couple of areas right here where there's already some body filler in the side here. I'm just going to smooth those out to where when the bed coat goes on, it's a nice, smooth, easy transition. But here we go. I'm going to start getting to painting things. Alright, I painted everything up that needs to be painted. Got the pedals, the gear shifts, any of the brackets and so forth that I wanted to paint black. I went ahead and got that done. Went ahead and came around to the back here. Got the back bumper, the rack, tail lights. Went ahead and did the inner fenders, just kind of on the lips there. Did all the front bumper and the tow bar. Went ahead and painted up anything that I'm thinking that I'm hopefully not going to get bedliner material on, because they're movable parts like hinges or something like that, like the hood hinge. Went ahead and painted that black because I think I'm going to try to stay away from this actual hood hinge itself with the bedliner material. I just don't think it's going to work on that. Went ahead and painted this gasket. Did the same thing back here on the hinges for the tailgate. Went ahead and painted them. Just anything that I thought was a movable part that wouldn't accept the bedliner material very well, I tried to go ahead and paint black and get that done. The paint job turned out really nice, especially on the bumper and the tow bar and stuff like that. It's coming together really nicely. Well, as Black Widow would say to the Hulk, the sun's getting real low. But in this case, it's actually dark. So I've been taping up everything, just getting everything ready for the bed liner install. Trying to get everything taped up real good, fill any holes, fill any buttons. Got the windshield all done, dash covered, front and back. And so it is getting ready to go into, I don't have a paint booth, but I've got a lean-to that if it's not raining tomorrow, I'm going to attempt to do this. The only really issues that I'm kind of having are I don't exactly know what I'm going to do when I'll go ahead and coat this front area, but then obviously I need to lift the hood and get the rest of the cowl underneath there, so I'm going to have to take that off separately afterwards. I just don't know the drying time. I don't know, kind of how much time am I going to have to work with the gun not clogging up, you know, those kind of things. So I'm gonna have to kind of just wing it. One thing that you got to be aware of on these Jeeps is there's a lot of little holes and channels and orifices and things like that that you got to keep open because soft tops and things like that go on it. So in some cases I covered them from the top, in other cases I covered them from the back to where whenever I spray this on here, it's actually going to stay inside the hole, and then I'll peel this off afterwards and coat the back of it. Just simple things, and obviously the buttons and things like that. Yeah, I could have removed them, I could have screwed them out, but I just, I don't know, taping it seemed faster to me. It probably wasn't in the long run. But this is where we're at. Oh yeah, back to this. One thing you got to be careful of is these holes and stuff in these brackets. So what I did is I just found some rope and basically put it inside there. Hopefully you can see that. That way it keeps that bedliner material out of there as much as possible so that you can still put your accessories on. I did that on both sides. So I think we're there, guys. I just ran out of time today, and we'll attempt to do this tomorrow. So what I'm going to do is break this video up into 2 episodes. You're watching first episode right now. This gets you through prep and getting the Jeep ready for the process, and then the second video, which I probably won't wait for a week to load it. I'll probably do it a little sooner than that. Will be the second part where I actually put on the product, the actual Bedliner product right here. All right, so until next time, guys, I appreciate you. Remember, episode 1 is this one. Episode 2 will be dropping pretty soon. Thank you for everybody who's subscribing and liking the videos, commenting. Guys, I'm really close to 1,000, kind of that coveted 1,000 subscribers, so thank you so much for the support. And guys, we'll catch you on the next video. God bless.